Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content. Here we go. It is a Monday. We are raring to go live in Los Angeles. Yeah, I got a cold, but colds are for wimps, baby. Who's missing on Monday? Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. J-Mac, so you have been on me for about a month with my devotion to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And, last year, and we talked about this, Kansas City was 11-0 in these one-score games. And we were like, that's kind of random. Well, they're 0-4 this year. So let's start with this. Listen, there is a thread. There is a trend. When Kansas City loses, it's usually not the defense or a drop pass or the run game. It's because Patrick Mahomes is uncomfortable. Last night, Kansas City was terrible on third down, dominated time of possession, only got 16 first downs. Mahomes hit 15 times. This is why they've been blown out in a couple Super Bowls. Josh Allen, conversely, 23 of 26. Because Josh Allen was comfortable all night, and Mahomes was never comfortable for 3.5 hours. That defensive front, Joey Bosa, that's why they signed him. He's a pain in the butt, and Andy Reid knows it last night. So there is a way to beat Kansas City. When they lose, and sometimes they lose ugly, Mahomes is getting hit. Now, it's not all roses and rainbows for Buffalo, okay? Kansas City lost 28-21 and had the ball late. Trade deadline tomorrow. Buffalo needs to go out and upgrade. This was an instructive win. Kansas City probably is just going to get healthier up front, going to cross their fingers a little. Buffalo's got a hole. They got a hole. But there is a trend when Mahomes this year is hit 7 times or more. They're 1-3. And so last night's a great example. It felt like one of those games we've watched them lose in the Super Bowl where you're just like, he's not comfortable. He doesn't trust his own line. He lets go of the ball early, and he still almost pulled it out. But if you're Buffalo, just think about this. Josh Allen's nearly perfect. You run for 140 yards. You're at home. You're perfect in the red zone. You dominate time of possession. You win the turnover battle. And Mahomes had the ball late going for the tie. So again, not all losses are awful losses, and not all wins mean you've solved everything. I watched Buffalo, and my takeaway is, how does Kansas City have a chance to tie this game? They got punched in the forehead for 3.5 hours and were moving the ball down the field. I mean, that stuff was nightmare fuel for Buffalo late. You're thinking, oh, they're not going to do it again after they clanked the field goal. So the one thing, though, we kept saying last year, Kansas City, Philadelphia was the best team last year. I think right now there's an argument the LA Rams are the best team for the second straight year. The best teams over in the NFC, not the AFC. AFC's got the better quarterbacks. I think the NFC's got the better teams. But last year, this team was unbeaten, 11-0 in one-score games. And now they're 0-4. The only team worse in the league's the Texans. So that's your company. So the last 2 years, Kansas City's had a hole on that offensive line. They had to let go of Joe Thuney this year. Joe Thuney's now a Bear. So Buffalo, don't pat yourself in the back. Howie Roseman's already made a move. Go upgrade wide receiver. Go upgrade wide receiver. You beat him. It doesn't mean you're going to beat him in January. Here's Patrick Mahomes on the loss.
We've had great moments. We've had bad moments. We got to be more consistent as a team. I got to be more consistent at quarterback, and we got to be able to battle. I mean, we've kind of been in a lot of these tight, close games in our history, but they're not going our way now. So how can we deal with that adversity? How can we be better and learn from it? I mean, you can only learn from so many losses. I mean, you gotta learn from it fast, and it's gonna be an uphill battle when we get back. But I think our guys are up to it.
Yeah. Again, not every win solves all your issues. Learn from stuff. All right, today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. They're a great partner. There's always something to bet on. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets. If you win, just place a $5 bet. That's it, $5. If it hits, you not only get your winnings, but you get $150 in extra bonus bets. The NBA is back, which means it's time to shoot your shot on Hard Rock Bet. You're home for all the hoops action all season long. If you need a little help with your first bet, check out the streaks heating up inside the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find live odds to bet on all of these streaks right in the Hard Rock Bet app. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today and make your first deposit.
I would vote Aaron Rodgers into the Hall of Fame, obviously first ballot. He's one of the 12 best quarterbacks I've ever seen. I always thought he was better than Favre. I thought he was more of a thinking man's quarterback, made fewer mistakes. So I always liked Aaron a little bit more than Favre. He can drive me nuts, a little projecting here and passive-aggressive stuff. I don't think that's great leadership, blah, blah, blah. But when Aaron was in his prime in Green Bay with a great organization, it was impressive, obviously. I'm so blown away what he's doing in Pittsburgh. This has been a dysfunctional offense for 7 years. Last year, Pittsburgh was 29th in the red zone offensively. Now they're top 10. Yeah, T.J. Watt in the defense knocked around Daniel Jones. They've done that 30 times in 5 years. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold are not the same player now they've left the Jets. When I watched Aaron at the Jets, I thought he was old. I had said on the air, I'm like, go to Minnesota or retire. Dude, you look old. Aaron looks nimble. It's like, I don't know if it's ayahuasca or whatever. I don't know what it is. Aaron is moving great. His body language is good. He's top 10 in touchdowns, completion percentage, passer rating. You can say, oh, it was our defense. Give me a break. In the two big Steeler wins, the Colts and New England, they got 11 takeaways. That's nonsense. That's not going to happen in big games. This Steeler team is all about Aaron. It's all. Don't kid yourself. Don't talk about the defense. Your defense does this. It's still not a very good defense. The Steelers' offensive line and pass protection right now is mid. They average 1.7 yards a rush. I could fall down and average that. You could too. So the O-line's not very good, especially in pass protection. The run game's not very good. And despite what you saw yesterday, the defense isn't very good. This team is going to go as far as Aaron Rodgers can take them. And right now, do you know he's on track to complete 68% of his throws and have 36 touchdowns? That is better than that amazing Brett Favre year with the Vikings. It's better than that. So I think the credit does not go to the defense or Mike Tomlin or the run game, or it goes completely to Aaron Rodgers. This was a dysfunctional, tone-deaf relic, a dinosaur of an offense. They're good in the red zone. I mean, they are high completion percentage, move the chains. I mean, yesterday, T.J. Watt doing what T.J. Watt does, but none of it matters if Aaron's not completing 25 or 35 and moving the chains. Here was Aaron after a surprising to many win.
This was a really important win for us, though, to not lose 3 in a row, to not go to 1-3 at home. And to kind of get that big elephant that was starting to try and jump on the backs of the defense, which is made up of media and, outside conversation about them. So we're all human, and I think those guys, you felt, pretty upset, had a little red ass about what's been going on. So I'm proud of them, the way they came back and responded.
Also, another instructive win. If you're Pittsburgh, I think you have to look at the running back position. I think the Bills need to get another receiver. Don't pat yourself in the back because you beat Kansas City. I think give Aaron another running back. Old quarterbacks are always better with the run game. The Rams are running the football very well. Stafford looks amazing. So I thought both the Steelers and the Bills, very impressive wins. It is amazing. You leave the New York Jets, Sam Darnold is the highest rated passer, I think, in the league, and Aaron looks fantastic. He looked old last year. He's looking good. And don't kid yourself about the defense yesterday. This is not a great defense. This is not a great defense. All right. Best World Series I've ever seen. And I think Calling right, calling wrong, top of the hour. I think I've figured out the Packers' problems because they got problems. Matt Hasselbeck's got a lot to chew on. He's bringing us up to date in his thoughts. You know, I said this about the Bills and the Chiefs. Played 10 times, it's 5-5. We all know the history. But that was a classic example of, you know, they go back and forth. What was the last game? What's this game? I just thought scheme, juice, energy, it just felt like Buffalo's night. Did it not?
Yeah, it did. And for whatever reason, this matchup, Buffalo seems to win all the games in the regular season. And the second time around in the playoffs, the Chiefs seem to win. It reminds me a little bit of what we did when I was in Seattle or when I was with the Indianapolis Colts. So I think we did a great job of this. And I think the Chiefs do a good job of this. You kind of have a post-game action plan. And so a lot of times, like after a game, you just say, hey, let's just flush that, move on. We're on to Cincinnati, quote unquote, right? And what we did is like we would actually spend some time on Monday mornings and we'd say, okay, let's talk about what we would have done differently last night. And you list it all out, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the stuff that gets you beat everything. And then, you play like 6 or 7 weeks or 8 weeks or 9 weeks, and you come back to that action plan of like, hey, what did we say the morning after? Like, hey, we should have attacked number whatever. We should have ran the ball more. Hey, we got too cute in the red zone. Hey, it's protection first. Like, don't let this guy be a game wrecker. And, I think that those were two things that we did when I was playing that we didn't do it on every team that I was at. And I wish we did. And it feels to me that Kansas City is always, always different second time around.
Yeah. So I said this. Never complain in this league, winning ugly on the road, and the Bears are. Okay, they would have lost that game a year ago. They've blocked a kick by the Raiders. They got lucky on a Jaden Daniels fumble. I mean, they are winning ugly. I don't love it. It's funny. Their offense is ranked 4th. So they've got skill. They've got the coach. Caleb Still sometimes with accuracy. Now, I will say this. He does not throw picks, and he's cut his sacks in half. I don't know if that's him or Ben, but I said going into the year, I said, Matt, don't get paralyzed by the record. They've got to cut the sacks in half. And Caleb's also never been a big interception guy. Wasn't in high school, wasn't at USC. He's not in the – even last year he had 6. They're getting better, but as I watch them, I'm like, I wish it was a little quicker. What do you see?
Well, I'm sold on Ben Johnson. Like, I think he's the real deal. Sometimes when you're a good play caller or a good coordinator, it doesn't mean you're going to be a good head coach. And you said, like, Caleb's cut his sacks in half. He's done way better than that. I mean, yesterday he was sacked 2 times. One was on him, 100%. The other one didn't hurt him. It was, we have a field goal in the bank, like, just protect the ball. I think they're creative. They're fun. They're dangerous. Ben Johnson's doing everything that he did in Detroit. But at the same time, they're physical. They bring in Ozzie Trapillo as an extra, he's a jumbo tight end. He's an offensive lineman for the good, hard play action shot plays. And then it's like 3rd and manageable the whole day. It's like 3rd and 5 or less. So Caleb's getting the ball out on time and on rhythm. And so while we always show the highlights of like the trick plays, I think the boring stuff where Caleb's really improved is just like you're saying, protecting the ball, not taking sacks, helping out the defense, complimentary football. And then just like how stoic Ben Johnson is the whole time is really remarkable. And then on that Loveland touchdown at the end of the game when Cincinnati was allergic to tackling, they're like the first guy in the end zone is Ben Johnson celebrating like he's John Travolta or something on the dance floor. It's really cool. And you see him in the locker room that way. I think the future is bright for Chicago. It's
interesting. So many of these coordinators are brilliant as the vice president. They're brilliant as the 2, and then they unravel as the 1. I wonder what it is. It's, you were in this league. It's not brain power, but some guys are just naturally comfortable in front of men and leading. By the way, a lot of guys are not comfortable relinquishing responsibility. I remember talking to Lane Kiffin about this years ago. Some guys want to be on the headset. Is there a secret sauce that if you had to go back in your career on coordinators that make great head coaches, is it a personality thing or a leadership thing?
Well, it's a lot of things, right? And I think Ben Johnson didn't jump into it too early. He could have been a head coach a long time ago. And he said, no, I'm not ready. Or I want to stick it out here in Detroit. We're working on something special. And some of it is building your staff, building the people around you. But no doubt, there's an it factor. In my career, I had coaches where early on, they might have been a GA, quality control coach, an assistant position coach. They get up in front of the room and like, man, they just commanded the room. Yeah. Like there's something special about this guy, a confidence and like, yeah, no, you're that guy. as opposed to the guy that's like, the little professor guy in the back room that like, hey, I appreciate your scheme, but I don't know if you're commanding the locker room.
Yeah, no, we had Ben Johnson on the show very early, and he had a McVay quality. It's just a guy that stood up, looked you in the eye, handsome guy, had a command of the room, and to your point. So I was saying this is Seattle, it doesn't happen very often. Standalone game, and the home team gets pushed around for 3 hours. I look around the NFC. I think Seattle matches up with everybody, including Philadelphia. I mean, is there a part of Seattle they could improve? Is there a hole in this team that you see?
Well, for sure. I mean, every team has things they need to work on. I think the Seahawks are so good in so many areas. The NFC is very competitive, though. I think one of the best things they do is that they don't flinch on the road. Like, they're almost better on the road than they are at home, which is a total head scratcher. But listen, JSN, Sam Darnold, those are two of the best players in the game right now. They're protecting Sam Darnold because of like their heavy play action. They're appearing like they're going to run the ball. I think their kryptonite might be you have to actually be able to run the ball when they know that you're going to run the ball. Everything that they're doing right now is check with me. It's very, very smart. Too many in the box. We're going to throw it. Light box. We're going to run it. The best teams, you're able to run it when the defense knows you're going to run it. And I think that, it's a critique, I guess, but if you're talking about trying to be the 1 seed or trying to go up and win the, hoist the Lombardi, that's the kind of stuff you got to be able to do.
So, I love Bo Nix. He's on a 6-game heater. He's great in the fourth quarter, and everybody tells me he's no good. J.J. McCarthy has his 3rd start. I'm supposed to say, well, he's unbelievable. I said earlier, it reminded me of the Michigan J.J. McCarthy. The defense set the tone. I love the head coach. And they asked him to make 1 or 2 huge throws in the second half. And he was very good on script, like Michigan. But if you go 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter, he had a passer rating of 38. So I'm not going to judge him. It's his 3rd start. But my take is, my concern was when he came out of Michigan is, boy, they don't ask him to do much. Harbaugh's great. The O-line's great. The defense is great. They're running to close the games out. He never trails, and he makes one big play. I feel like that's kind of what I saw yesterday, or am I being underwhelmed? Did you see more?
No, he's a young player, and it was a gritty performance. He kind of reminds me of myself, though, early in my career. The training wheels were on. I think he completed 14 passes. He had 2 nice touchdown passes and 1 bad interception, but it's a little bit like, hey, we're just going to take it slow with you. I think he passed for 8 first downs yesterday. And so, like, they're going to need more from him. But he's a young player coming off of injury, and I think just getting used to the speed of the game. They like the potential. Unfortunately for him and for the Vikings, they could have had Sam Darnold. They could have had Daniel Jones. They could have had Aaron Rodgers. And so the microscope and the scrutiny is going to be high. The guys in your draft class are doing really, really well. So you're going to have to grow up really quick. I think that, stacking these gritty performances in these games will go a long way for earning respect in the locker room. And then I think with the coaching staff, they're going to give you a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And eventually you're going to have to put the team on your back in a Justin Herbert kind of way. And that'll come. But right now, no, it's, all the same stuff we're talking about with Caleb, like you got to grow, and you got to not take sacks, and you got to protect the football and those types of things.
So creating an identity is hard, but it's essential. And sometimes it's harder to maintain it. I feel like Green Bay is off. The compass is off. They want to run it, but they're not terribly effective. They trust Jordan Love mostly, but not entirely. Reed's been banged up. Now Kraft is out. When I watch them, like I watch the Rams, I know exactly what they're trying to do. When I watch the Niners with Christian McCaffrey, I don't even care about the quarterback. I know exactly what they are. Same with Baltimore. I watch the Packers. What are they offensively? Because I can't figure it out.
They're really good. They're just young, Colin. They're young. Like it was a trap game, like the definition of a trap game. And it happened. They were literally last week. We were talking about they're the best team in the NFC. They took it to Aaron Rodgers. They performed. Jordan Love's as cool as a cucumber, like all the stuff. And they go into Carolina and they played like a young team. And listen, you're going to make mistakes in the NFL. These guys are human. This isn't college football. Every game's a tough game. That's why you celebrate any win that you have. But when guys guys go down, they lost Kraft in the game. Sometimes it can be a little bit of an energy vampire suck on the sideline there because man, we're thinking about our brother. We're not focused on the game. You're going to make mistakes in the course of a career and the course of a season. Make new mistakes. If you're the Green Bay Packers, you need to learn from this mistake. When you're in a situation like this again, you can't make this mistake again. I think they took this team lightly. I think Carolina came in and they were professional about it. Green Bay will learn from this, and for them, hopefully they're a lot better for it. Because really, the 1 seed was there for them. Now the division is very, very tight. So look out. I still like this team though. I'm not giving up on them. They just got to learn from it.
Finally, you were at one point an old quarterback. It is remarkable to watch Darnold and Aaron Rodgers outside of the Jets. I said they don't run the ball in Pittsburgh. The defense was good yesterday, but it's got holes all over it. I watch Aaron and I'm like, I thought it was a one. I said you should go to the Vikings or retire. Pittsburgh's terrible in offense. Whether he's great or not, I do feel like there is something to be said about loving your job, loving the environment, and playing a little bit with joy. I feel like Aaron's like happy Aaron. And there's kind of two Aarons. But when I watch him, I'm like, I didn't think he had much left in the tank. And I'm like, oh, he should play again. It should be a 2-off. Win a playoff game. Are you surprised a little bit that there's a little fountain of youth in Pittsburgh?
Well, I think a little bit surprised, but I'm not surprised that it's working so well with Mike Tomlin and with Arthur Smith. I'm really not. And the leadership and he can still sling it. He can still throw the ball. He's very impressive that way. Their division's not very good. I think we thought Cincinnati was going to be better. We thought Baltimore was going to be better. But as it sits right now, Pittsburgh's in position to host a playoff game, and their defense came alive, creating turnovers. I just think that there's still a lot of room for improvement for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You won by 7 and the Colts had 6 turnovers. So you got to find ways to be more dominant. I'd like to see them run the ball more. I'd like to see them run the ball more when they're down in the tight red zone, not rely on, the Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf show, goal line fades or slants. There's more to like there. We need consistency from that defense. I think they could get it. I actually like the fit. I like that Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, is kind of with a NFL royalty type organization. I think it's great for football. But I think my big question is can Baltimore jump back into this mix if Pittsburgh falters? Can somebody else compete with them, or are they just going to run away with this division?
I want to circle back. Final question. I think sometimes when you win a game, it becomes instructive. If I was Pittsburgh, I'd consider trade deadline running back. I think Buffalo needs another wideout. I do wonder, when you're a very good team, you're running the football, you've got a very close locker room with Josh Allen, and all of a sudden we bring in a wide receiver. Would you be concerned? Because receivers come, of all the positions, they're on an island. You get very unique personalities. I think Buffalo needs another. That game was 28-21 in Kansas City had the ball, and Mahomes was awful. And Buffalo dominates time of possession. They're at home, perfect in the red zone, won the turnover battle. Kansas City was going in for the tie. I think they need to add a little icing to the cake. Would you do it with the worry that it could disrupt harmony or chemistry?
I would do it, and here's why. When I entered the NFL, I was with the Green Bay Packers. Mike Holmgren's the head coach. They're coming off of 2 consecutive Super Bowls, and he was very, very clear. This organization will always search the planet for anyone that we think can make our team better. So don't look at who you're competing with in the locker room, because we're searching the planet. And if we ever bring somebody in, it's because we are trying to hoist the Lombardi. And as a player, even though I was one of the guys that was now replaceable, I loved it. It just felt like, hey, this organization is all the way in. And therefore I'm going to be all the way in, and I better be all the way in, or I'm going to get replaced myself. I like as a player, I don't mind the mindset at all. I really don't. And, it might hurt somebody's feelings, but for the entire locker room, I think it's a great thing. Sends a message, and I think it's a really good message.
Matt Hasselbeck, 18 years in the NFL. He is our Monday guest every Monday during the football season and beyond. As always, Matt, thank you.
See you, Colin.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where I'm sitting there watching that game last night, and I'm like, Kansas City's going for the tie? How? Mahomes got hit 15 times. How are they going for the tie?
I'm surprised you haven't played that. Well, they didn't have Isaiah Pacheco. You know, it's always like, hey, no Xavier Worthy, no Rasheed Wright. They were fully formed last night. They just didn't look great when they're not playing the dumpster fire Raiders or Marcus Mariota and the Commanders, who look like a joke now. Remember, they've now lost on the road to the Bills and the Jags. And 3 weeks ago, you didn't have the Bills in the herd hierarchy, did you?
It's a slight.
Very interesting how things are shifting. The sands. I'm in the herd hierarchy tomorrow. Everybody's waiting. How far do you drop the Chiefs? Are they 8, 9? What are we doing?
Well, let's not overreact.
We know Rams are going to be 1. That's obvious.
Well, Rams are good. Do that. It's like 4 weeks in a row.
Rams are Broncos, basically. You have to admit, you love it that all your guys are thriving. Your
Darnold,
Rams, Chargers, Darnold.
Bo Nix.
I mean, all of them they're having career years. It's crazy.
All right, we take a break. We are live, the herd in Los Angeles.